So in this video, we're going to hold a 10-minute board of directors meeting for November 24 for Archi Demo Co. Take a front row seat as George, Desley and I work out what's going on and what our next steps are. So sit back, grab a cuppa and enjoy the vid. November 2024 Archi Demo board meeting. Welcome George Panos.
Hi David. Hi Desley.
Hi Desley, how are you going?
Hi George, hi David. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, well, thanks. Well guys, sent out the financial pack last week. I'd imagine that you guys are pretty happy with where things are at. There was a bit of stress through the month sweating on the outcome of that cheap and nasty lawyer proposal that we had, but it's come through. Everyone's been working super hard to get the result that we've done. But yeah, I personally don't think there's a lot of value in us going right through that financial pack again. There's another video on that people can look at if they want to. But, you know, needless to say, we're happy where we're at. And our effort should be really now focusing about the future and delivering this pipeline of work, making sure it doesn't slip. And yeah, you know, our eyes have got to be to the future. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, firstly, I do agree, David. I think the results are really pleasing, actually, and I think the future looks really positive. I think we should obviously talk about the great work that we've done in the last couple of months in relation to our staff and the potential downsizing that we may have required. I don't know, Desley, if you want to comment on that.
I think, George, as well, it's important to recognise how much effort we've put into all of us together getting to this point, you know, particularly David with being so across the numbers. You know, without that, we wouldn't be in this positive spot. So I just wanted to call that out. I think it's really important to pause and reflect on that. But certainly the staff have been amazing and really appreciative of the fact that we are coming to them saying, this is what we've done. This is how we've tried to put things in place to make sure that we don't have repeats of the past. We don't have the redundancies at the end of the year. Who wants that? And so they're actually really excited about the opportunity into 2025 around what ideas they can come up with and what might be in their, you know, in the back of their mind bubbling around about potential work in the pipeline. That's been great for the culture. It's also been great for building more loyalty, even more.
So really, I think the next issue really is looking at obviously the fantastic numbers and what we've got for the next 6 months and the issues that raises. And I think the first issue that raises is really the mix of people that we have at the moment. Where you know, we've got an interior design job that's coming through, and we've probably got more architects than interior designers. So how do we manage that in the next couple of months? I think after the Christmas break. What are the thoughts at the moment?
Yeah, well, we've got the Tech Bros job underway at the moment, and according to the resourcing schedule, you know, that one's okay. The one that I think that we've got a problem with is cheap and nasty lawyers starting in January. That's that big job that we've just won, and just on that, I think, you know, we've earned the job, earned the right to propose for it and everything like that. But it's a tough market at the moment. Very lucky that we won it, you know, because otherwise we would have had to break glass and maybe have some of those other discussions. So, but as you say, George, I think now the thing is, you know, we've got a Brisbane Interiors Department. This is a big job. How are we going to execute it efficiently? You know, we have to make a choice. It's either we have to look at that mix. You know, would it make sense to take some interiors people on and get rid of a few architects so that mix was better suited to the current workload? Then what happens if we don't pick up any more interiors jobs and we're left with a bunch of interior designers? So there's some tough calls there. Or I guess the other alternative might be to turn them into sort of multidisciplinary architects where they can do interiors and architecture.
One of the things that I think we tend to forget about with our people in every organisation, it's not just us, is they've had experience and skills that from past lives, past roles, you know, studies, whatever it is, that we may not even be aware of, we may not be using. So I think let's have a look at, you know, who's interested in cross-skilling, upskilling, you know, development opportunities into interiors. You know, can our current interiors people support them through that process? So we're actually building a team who can collaborate, can work together. Let's set them up for success though, and make sure that we do have the skills that we need. But we can also look at different options. We don't have to engage people on a permanent basis. You know, there are contractors out there. There are people who would be after casual work. You know, so we can be a bit creative around how we build the bench strength.
No, I agree. I think that the next stage is really, what's the time frame, given that we are coming close to Christmas? When's that analysis period? And obviously we should start that analysis period straight away with the new job, I imagine, starting mid-January after the Christmas break. We've got a little bit of time to make that assessment. And obviously, to mobilise and to see if we're to work through that issue over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And I think we need to see what those skill levels are and what training is required, because I think that's the optimum. I agree that's the optimum for us. I think concurrently maybe we can also go to the market and see if there's anyone free at the same time, just to make sure that if we do find that we've got a gap, that we can actually fill that as well. So I think there's two actions out of this. Firstly, to make that further assessment of interior architecture exposure, and also the second one is to go out to market just in case that we don't have it and we're not caught short.
We need to act on that pretty quickly too, right? It will be starting mid-January. We don't want to be getting back after Christmas and having work all this out then. Because things are going to move very quickly with that job.
Yeah, and I think, we've thought, you can't recruit until January, February. But in fact, if other organisations have been going through a similar process to us but have not ended up in the positive financial position we are, then there'll be people in the market available and they'll actually appreciate the process starting now in terms of recruitment or engagement with contractors.
100%. I think it's a tough market out there at the moment. I'm hearing stories of firms that are letting a few people go. I imagine the interiors market's down as well, just with more work from home and commercial tenancy vacancy rates and all that sort of stuff. I mean, we were looking at the batting order. We talked about that in the last board meeting. We said if we need to tap 4 people on the shoulder, let's make sure they're the right 4. And I think it's the same batting order that we should be looking at in terms of this mix for the interiors stuff as well. If we are to swap out some architects for some interiors and start becoming more of a multidisciplinary firm, those capabilities need to be balanced up better.
No, I agree. And I think noting that it is at the moment just one job that we have won, but it made the door for us to win more jobs as well. So we've got to tread warily to make sure that we don't move too quickly, because we may not win another interior design job.
Yeah, completely agree, George. And I think maybe what we need to do when we are recruiting, because people leave voluntarily periodically, when we're recruiting, let's look at what are the skills that we bring in then, and not just focus on an architect, for instance, focus on someone who does have that multidisciplinary experience, so that we're building the bench strength incrementally.
I think then the next issue as well that I think we need to discuss is that, look, we're in a really good position, but I think this is the time that we need to think, continuously think more in relation to what the next 6 months looking like. And if we want to have a bit of a growth mindset, this is really probably when we need to do some marketing, because it looks like the next 6 months is pretty well looking pretty good, but a cliff in May, June at the end of the financial year.
If we manage this right, if we don't let these projects slip, up until the end of April, we'll be better than budget. Yeah, we're going through a quiet period over Christmas, but we've had a couple of bigger months, so that'll level out. The bulk of the $228,000 shortfall we've got in the forecast is those 2 months. We need to get right into that, look at our marketing targets, and start then saying, well, how do we turn these into being people that we'd like to work with to people we are working with?
Yeah, and I think, how do we support the team in their skill set to advocate for themselves and the work, and become mini marketers? We don't have the expectation that they'll be full on marketers, but in every interaction, if we think about it, our team are amazing advocates for working with us.
I agree, and just fully on, obviously, with our rainmakers as well, because obviously we've got some key people who do win our work. Are they going to be free enough? Hopefully they've been, they're not caught in delivering these projects, as we know that there needs to be a certain utilisation of our rainmakers. They need to spend half their time actually trying to win work, and I think we need to analyse those numbers and make sure that they are free enough to go out there and also look at that training aspect as well, because this is a perfect time where the next 3-4 months looks really quite strong. This is the time that we can really start to build on the great foundations and keep winning that work, but making sure that we give those people enough time for them to go out and win work. Let's not get caught in this vicious circle where we've got our key key rainmakers are actually working so hard that, it becomes, there will be burnout out of it.
And the other complication that we've got is that the Alice Road project that started last month, we came out of the blocks really quick, threw people at it because they were coming off another job. And we started to build up the big pile of WIP, but we're actually 170,000 in the red on that job. It's losing money already at 16% earned value. So I suspect that's part of the reason why one of the principals is sort of waylaid in there trying to get that thing off the ground so that he can pull back and do some marketing. But right now, he probably can't. If he turns his eye to marketing now, that job's just going to keep digging a deeper and deeper hole. And it's the biggest job we've got on at the moment. It's sucking up almost half the people.
And maybe we need to have that conversation with him to make sure that everyone's on the same page with acknowledging what needs to be done and what will drop as a result of that needing to be done.
And I agree. We need to work out mechanisms to release that person. I think if we don't, then we will not achieve what we want to do, and we'll get to the cliff moment without really being able to actually satisfy it. I think just wrapping it up, we're in a really good position. I think we've been able to work through the human resources issues in the last couple of months. We've had some fantastic discussions. Our next 6 months looks very strong. We've got those usual issues of maybe over-servicing. We've got an issue of obviously with some of key rainmakers being overstretched, and we need to work through that. We need to look at our marketing in essence, because we know that we've got a bit of a cliff in a couple of at the end of the year, at the end of the financial year. So we've got a number of challenges, and I think this is the time where we're getting some good results, but we need to continue on with that, and we need to keep thinking. And these are the moments where boards are really important, because this is really the moment that we need to make these key decisions to continue on and not really get to May and June and actually lose all the momentum and all the profit in those couple of months. So, in terms of the report card, it's a lot better going into Christmas, but we do have some challenges that we need to address.
Well, all right. Thanks very much, guys. I'll see you at the next one.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Bye.
So if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe button. Tell your friends about it. There's plenty more updates coming for Archi Demo Co in the future.